And it is being very vulnerable when you stand on stage, or when when you're performing and you're on your own, or you're sort of doing your thing. And it's a very well, I haven't done that, but I can just assume that it is a very vulnerable place then.
Yeah, definitely. It's pretty terrifying. I mean, so I started like the singing last year. I went to an open mic from this guy called Danny Chicago, who's in the music scene here in Vienna. And I think I was feeling particularly confident that day, so I got up and sang, and I was like, "Oh wow, I can do this! Awesome!" And then he started taking me to a couple of jazz bars, and I started singing at the jam sessions there, terrified still, not a lot of stage presence. And the thing that really, I think, helped me to grow a lot as an artist and a performer was starting to sing in the streets. And that's where I sort of built up all my following and got most of my opportunities. I went on to Maria Hilfestrasse. I live pretty close by. I had this terrible little karaoke box and microphone that I'd ordered on Amazon, thinking that it was a big one, but the microphone was like this big. So I was there with my tiny microphone. And it was absolutely terrifying for the first like 5 minutes, because you're like, oh God, like I'm just so obviously showing people that I want attention. And we're taught as women, you don't ask for attention, blah, blah, blah. And then I realized, oh, you know what? It's okay. And most people either don't care or they do care and they like it.
Yeah.
And then I started to just sort of play around with it. And it's such a weird place, Maria Hilfestrasse. There's so many characters and things like that, that I just kind of realized that I was just one of these characters and could start playing a role. And when you start playing a role, it's a lot easier to get into it because you're not so much showing yourself, I guess. But as soon as sorry, yeah.
No, carry on, yeah.
Don't get me started. I can talk and talk and talk. But I think as soon as I need the role in order to start, but once I start singing, it kind of like all goes away, and I'm just putting myself out there.
Your inner self, then.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but what I was thinking about singing in the street, because I've thought about this a lot, also during lockdown, how many musicians then turned to playing in the street, and the classical musicians also who just needed that sort of opportunity, because the theaters were closed, so they needed that opportunity to sort of just connect with the people. And I thought it's for me, I love that. I love street performing. And I wouldn't call it street performers, because I know there's sometimes a stigma to that. But I love, that you had the courage to just go there with not, the best equipment, but just put yourself out there, because I think it is, like you say, it's then connecting with that person who really wants to listen to you. I mean, some people will walk away, but there you will find your people then, or your audience then there.
Completely. I've had like some of the most beautiful experiences singing on the street. I've had people come up to me and say that, they were having such a rough day, and then they sat and listened to me for a bit and everything felt okay again. And I was like, oh God, like I don't need to be a therapist. I can just sing to people. One of the nicest times I had, I went to, you can get like a Platzkarte for going to sing in different places by the city of Vienna, and they gave me a spot at Prater the Prater station, and there's lots of homeless people there and alcoholic people. But they were like the best audience I've ever had in my life. They were so nice. They all gathered around. They started dancing. They kept coming up to me. They were like, "Thank you so much. Like, please do another song. This was the best day of my life. Can I buy you something?" And I was like, "Oh, don't buy me anything. Like, this is fine." And then we sat and had a drink together after. So it was really lovely. So that kind of connecting to people is just what keeps me going.
Yeah, because it's not people who would necessarily go into a jazz bar or, would go into a venue to. So you really got to touch people on the street. That's amazing. I love this.
Me too.
Yeah. But I love your story. I love the fact that you just, that you took your time and you went out there and, you didn't have like you say, the years of training and everything, but you really sing then from within, and it's like your natural talent that you then use.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm really lucky because that thought of, oh, I don't have the training and everything used to hold me back massively. And I mean, this isn't luck at all. But I was unfortunate enough to have my mother pass away last year, a year ago, last Thursday, from a long battle with cancer. And actually, I think that motivated me to get into singing because she was a wonderful, wonderful person, but gave her everything to everybody else. And I think she had quite a few unfulfilled dreams that she was always putting off for whatever reason. Oh, yeah, I'd really like to get back into painting or whatever, but, I've got this to do and that to do, and I'll do it next week. And seeing her pass away with all these unfulfilled dreams motivated me not to do the same. And I thought, you know what, like I could die tomorrow. I mean, I think death is a really powerful thing to experience, and it makes you realize your own mortality and how, we could literally die tomorrow. And so what's the harm in trying it out? Maybe I won't make it as a singer, but I'm going to have fun doing it. So
yeah. And it's like, it's like you say, it's that feeling of this is what I want to do, and we shouldn't really, have these voices of no, you're not good enough, or you don't have the training, or you don't have this, or you don't have the equipment. Sometimes it's just getting out there and just doing it, and just then as taking the steps, because it's sometimes the steps that bring all the things that you need to equip you to do it.
Absolutely. That's kind of my motto as a therapist. It's like, well, did you die? No. Then it wasn't a bad experience, was it?
Yeah.
You've grown from it. And who knows, maybe even if you die, maybe it's not a bad experience. We have no idea. So really, there's no losing at life.
Yeah. So tell me about the music that you're singing. How do you choose the songs, or what inspires you to sing specific songs?
I mean, the French ones, they're really just, I choose the songs that I love to sing the most. It can be either like technically speaking, just because like it's so nice to like really belt it out, and a lot of Piaf is that. Or they have a really beautiful story in the lyrics, and I can kind of act the story out and like imagine myself as a character in the story.
Yeah.
Or they're just songs that I used to listen to when I was a child, or certain parts of my life, and I can kind of go back to that part and take the emotions out when I'm singing them, especially the French songs. And then jazz was mainly like I've just been listening to them since I was a kid on repeat. And so sometimes it's also just because I know the lyrics.
Oh, okay.
Very well. But yeah, I suppose the being able to play a character in the songs.